Hello dear learners, welcome to NIOS. Did you know ancient India was an important center for development of science and technology? Today we will learn about how the development of science took place in ancient India. I would like to start off with a question. What do you mean by scientific ideas? Well, when we search for truth and knowledge of the natural and the physical world and use the truth to help human race progress, we are searching scientific ideas. For example, what are the sun and moon and the planets? Why is fire hot? What does the season change? Etc. All these are scientific questions which are answered by the search of truth, which we will answer these questions and help us understand our day-to-day lives. India has a rich heritage of science and technology. However, what is important to note here is that in India, science and religion are not very separate. They can be said as one side of the same coin. Let us now find out the developments in different branches of science in the ancient period. Astronomy. Astronomy is the study of the movements of planets and stars. It made great progress in ancient India. Astronomy and astrology are both included in the term Jyotish. Jyotish Vedang text was a book which deals with the study of astronomy to a large extent. But the person who contributed to the study of astronomy in ancient India is Aryabhatta, 499 AD. He wrote a book named Aryabhatta, which contains 121 verses. It contains separate sections on astronomical definitions, methods of determining the true position of the planets, description of the movement of the sun and the moon, and the calculation of the eclipses. The reason he gave for eclipse was the earth was a sphere, that is round, and rotated or spin on its axis, and when the shadow of the earth fell on the moon, it caused lunar eclipse. And when the shadow of the moon fell on earth, it caused solar eclipse. Before this scientific discovery made by Aryabhatta, there was a story for eclipse that there was a demon who would swallow the planets. Another important person was Varahamihira, who gave summary of 5 schools of astronomy present in his time in his book called Panch Siddhantika. Aryabhatta moved away from Vedic astronomy and gave it to a scientific outlook which became a guideline for later astronomers. Astrology and horoscope were studied in ancient India. Aryabhatta's theories showed a distinct move from astrology, which stressed more on beliefs than scientific explorations. Mathematics and astrology. We have all done mathematics, have we not? Well, in Sanskrit mathematics, we call Ganita. Ganit is a general name of the subject which includes geometry called Rekha Ganit, arithmetics, that is dealing with numbers, we call it Patin Ganit. Which literally means calculations on board, also known as Anka Ganit. Calculation with numerals. It also includes algebra, which is also called Bij Ganit or seed analysis. We can say that Ganit makes a base or foundation for scientific ideas. The town planning of Harappa shows that the people had a good knowledge of measurement and geometry. By 3rd century AD, mathematics developed as a separate stream of study. Indian mathematics is supposed to have originated from Sulva Sutra, like Aryabhatta, Apstamba, in 2nd century BC, introduced practical geometry involving acute angle, obtuse angle and right angle. This knowledge helped in the construction of fire altars where the kings offered sacrifices. The 3 main contributions in the field of mathematics were the notation system, the decimal system and the use of zero. The notations and the numerals were carried to the west by the Arabs. These numerals replaced the Roman numerals. Zero was discovered in India in the 2nd century BC. Brahmagupta's book Brahmasputa Siddhanta is the very first book that mentioned 0 as a number. Hence, Brahmagupta is considered as the man who found 0. He gave rules of using 0 with other numbers. Aryabhatta discovered algebra and also formulated the area of triangle, which led to the origin of trigonometry, a stream of geometry. The Surya Siddhanta is a very famous work. Vahra Mira's Brihata Samhita of the 6th century AD is another work in the field of astronomy, which was first of its own kind. His observation that the moon rotated around the earth and the earth rotated around the sun found acceptions, and later discoveries were based on this idea. Mathematics and astronomy together ignited interest in time and cosmology. These discoveries in astronomy and mathematics became the foundation for further research and progress. Medicine. In the beginning, dear learners, diseases, cure and medicines were mentioned for the first time in the Atharva Veda. The diseases are said to be caused by the demons and spirits entering into one's body. To get well, one was to take help of magical charms and spells. From 600 BC began the period of real sciences. Takshila and Varanasi emerged as a centers of medicine and learning. The two important texts in this field are Charak Sanhita by Charak and Shrustha Samhita by Shrustha. How important was their work can be understood from the knowledge that it reached as far as China, Central Asia, through translations in various languages. The plants and the herbs used for medicinal purposes have been mentioned in Charak Samhita. All parts of the plant, roots, barks, flowers, leaves, etc., were used. Stress was laid on diet. Surgery came to be mentioned as a separate stream around 4th century AD. Shrustha was the first to discover surgery. He considered surgery as the highest division of the healing arts and least liable to fallacy. He mentions 121 surgical instruments. Along with this, he also mentions the methods of operations, bone setting, cataract, and so on. The surgeons in ancient India were familiar with plastic surgery, that is, repair of nose, ears, and lips. The two texts of Charak Samhita and the Shrustha Samhita became the foundation of the development of Indian medicine in the later centuries. Next is metallurgy. Do you know what is the meaning of metallurgy? Metallurgy is the study of metals. The glazed potteries and bronze and copper artifacts found in the Indus Valley excavations point towards a highly developed metallurgy. By the 1st century AD, mass production of metals like iron, copper, silver, gold, and of alloys like brass and bronze were taking place. The iron pillar in the Qutub Minar complex is indicative of the high quality of alloying that was being done. So, dear learners, do you know what are alloys? Alloys are metal made by combining two or more metallic elements. Similarly, alkali and acids, I repeat, similarly, alkali and acids were produced and utilized for making medicines. This technology was also used for other crafts like producing dyes and colors. Textile dyeing was popular. The Ajanta frescoes reflect on the quality of the color. These paintings have survived till date. Geography. The constant interaction between man and nature forced people to study geography. Though people were clear about their own physical geography, the hill mountains, etc., they were unaware of their position on earth and the distances with other countries. This made them learn geography by undertaking journeys by sea, which were called voyages. Indians also contributed to shipbuilding. In the ancient period, voyages and navigation was not a familiar foray for the Indians. However, Lothal, a site in Gujarat, has the remains of a dockyard, proving that trade flourished in those days by sea. In the early medieval period, there was the concept of tirtha and tirthayatra, like going to visit religious places. They were recorded in the books called Puran and Sthal Puran. In our next lectures, we will be talking about the development of science and technology in medieval India. it will as interesting as this lecture. Dear learners, so let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. India was an important center for development of science and technology in ancient times. In ancient India, science and religion are two sides of the same coin. Astronomy of the studies of the movements of planets and stars made great progress in ancient India. Their contribution in astronomy, mathematics, medicine, metallurgy, chemistry have made an impact on modern scientists. I look forward to knowing more about development of science in India in our next lecture. I hope you have enjoyed the discussion as much as I did. Until we meet next time, take care. If you have any queries, you may send us to signlanguage@nis.ac.in. For more information, you may visit our website www.nis.ac.in. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.